Woo! What's going on, guys? Orange Farm coming at you guys today again with another video. And today I'm going to continue with my practice squad players. And I'm going to get some defensive guys out of the way right now. After this, I got one more video on practice squad guys, and then I'm going to get into my week one review. And I'll talk about that later on too as well. But let's do some defensive guys that we signed to our practice squad player. And the first guy that I want to talk about is defensive tackle Bruce Hector. We did sign linebacker Devontae Beckett. You know who he is, and we did sign Bruce Hector, and we did sign edge Jesse Lemonnier, who's been with another team before as well. But let's get on with the video, and it's defensive tackle Bruce Hector, 6'2", about 295 pounds, 26 years old, South Florida Bull in college, undrafted free agent in 2018. He's played with the Eagles, played with the Cardinals, and back to the Eagles 2019, Panthers 2020, Titans 2021, and now our Detroit Lions in 2021 as well. Titans let him go. In college, his numbers are pretty decent. 90 tackles, 28 tackles for loss, 18 sacks, 3 pass deflects, 2 forced fumbles in 3 years at South Florida. He's a defensive tackle with some good hands and some quickness. Can play up and down the line. The knock on him was his size and his frame. Even though he's 6'2", 295, that's not an ideal size for a defensive tackle in today's NFL. And he's a rotational defensive tackle with some giddy up to the quarterback with his 18 sacks as a college player. So even when he was with the Detroit Lions in the preseason, he was playing well. I actually thought that he might have had a shot of becoming a rotational defensive tackle for this team. I thought maybe he's going to go in and out. You know, him and Kevin Strong were going to make it. I believe Kevin Strong did make it to 53, but Bruce Hector got released. Then we just signed him back to the practice squad. But he's going to be a guy that I think is going to be waiting in the wings. He's still kind of young. He's been on a few other teams. Doesn't have any really any NFL stats. I think he might have half a sack, couple tackles down the line, but he hasn't really produced at the NFL level. So, but he could be a guy that could help out in a pinch. You just never know what happens, man. You can't have enough D linemen, right? So then the second guy I want to talk about is linebacker Devontae Beckett, 23 years old, 5'11", about 220 pounds. Started his collegiate career at Virginia Tech in 2016, got in a little bit of trouble. Then he had to go on to Marshall, and the Marshall Thundering Herd from 2019 to 2020. Had to take a couple years off of school, and I'll get into that too in a minute. His college numbers: 218 tackles, 14 and a half tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks, 1 interception, 5 pass deflects, 6 fumble recoveries, and 4 forced fumbles. An undrafted free agent in 2021 by the Detroit Lions. This is a guy that I actually really liked coming out of school. Played for Virginia Tech, didn't really play that much his freshman year. Then he got into some trouble. He was conspiring to sell marijuana, and he had some possession of a lot of marijuana actually, and he pretty much had to leave Virginia Tech, and he entered the transfer portal in 2017. Then he had to get redshirted in 2018 because of the transfer portal rules in the NCAA. So he pretty much took like a year and a half off football. And then he played 2019, I believe, and he was a Conference USA Defensive Player of the Year in 2020. Had a good 2019 and a pretty good 2020 to end his collegiate career. Ended up getting undrafted. Like I said, we picked him up this year. I thought he had a lot of talent. He's one of those guys that's a little bit small, too small to play linebacker, kind of too big and a little bit too slow to play safety. So he's a kid that plays with a fiery intensity, but like I said, he lacks the size of a true linebacker, and he lacks the measurables of a safety as well, especially the speed department. He does diagnose plays very well though. His cover skills are lacking. That's why you probably won't see him transition to a safety. Like a lot of teams, I think were willing to maybe bring him in, but then you see the tape, you don't like him in coverage, and you have to learn how to be a cover safety if you want to play that in the NFL. He's kind of like, he's not a one-trick pony, but he's just a guy that just does not cover well right now at his size and stature. He does avoid blocks well, and he can locate the ball carrier, and he will attack. He's a package linebacker at this time, and he just will need to shine on special teams. He's a developing guy. Made some noise in the preseason as well for the Detroit Lions. Caught the eye of Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn, our defensive coordinator, noticed how good he was playing and thought that maybe was talking about a possible roster spot. He was playing some special teams as well, but it just ended. It's a numbers game. It just didn't happen at the time. I'm kind of guessing they might have had some words about him, about Tavante Beckett and Anthony Pittman, maybe trying to see which one they think is better. Obviously, they thought Anthony Pittman was, and they put him on the 53. And at least they signed Tavante Beckett to the practice squad, which is a good sign. He'll be there. He'll be in camp. He'll be in practice, and he's one injury away from coming up. So I really liked him coming out of school. I bet you he would have been probably drafted if he would have gotten himself, if he would have been clean and not gotten himself in a little bit of trouble back a few years ago at Virginia Tech. He probably would be playing in the NFL on a 53 right now, but maybe not even the Detroit Lions. But at least we have him on the roster. He's on the practice squad. Let's see what goes on there. And the last guy I'm going to talk about is an edge guy, Jesse Lemonnier, 24 years old, 6'2", 240 pounds, Liberty Flames. That's what school he went to. His college numbers: 135 tackles, 29 tackles for loss, 20 and a half sacks, 1 fumble recovery, 3 forced fumbles, 2 years at Liberty. He was a JUCO student before that, though. He had, let me see what he's at. Yeah, he went to a JUCO school called Ventura College, where he racked up 79 tackles, 18 and a half tackles for loss, 8.5 sacks, 1 interception, 1 defensive player of the year in his conference as well. So overall, the kid had 214 tackles, 47 tackles for loss, 29 sacks, 1 fumble recovery, 3 forced fumbles. Kid was a playmaker in school, just went to a smaller school. He's one of those guys, explosive first step. Watch his tape. That's the one thing you really notice. His first step as an outside linebacker, edge player is just, it's something really, really nice. It's something to behold. He's got a beautiful first step. It's explosive. He will live in the backfield, and he can play the run as well too. He's not just a guy that's going to get to your quarterback, but that is his strength. He'll need to work on his pass rush. His pass rush arsenal, though, he pretty much only has one move, from what I've noticed. And you can just see it. He loves to go to the outside. Loves to swipe down. He loves to swipe down the offensive tackles or whoever he's going up against. Loves to swipe on their arms and come with the rip inside or on the outside. And he just uses that speed and he uses some of that quickness. But if he gets blocked there, he kind of loses it, and he'll get pushed right out of the play. And then there's nothing he can really do. And in the NFL, if you're a one-trick pony, it's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. The Chargers had him, though. The Chargers did have him for a couple years. They released him this year. I watched a game this year. This is before the Lions even had Lemonnier on the team. I was watching a Chargers preseason game, and he was the kid that stuck out to me. It's funny that we have him now. He made like two or three plays back-to-back or something like that for the Chargers, where his first step was amazing. He just blew right by the offensive tackle on like 2 plays in a row, had a couple sacks. He was a little bit undisciplined, though. He jumped offside once or twice too, I noticed as well. He's a kid that runs really high. His motor runs high, but when I watched him play too, this is before I was even scouting him. He was just, that's what his moves was. It was just knock down the guy's arms and try to rip up and go around the guy's outside shoulder. He didn't have any other moves. He's got to work on those moves. Got to work on a spin move. Got to work on a rip inside. Got to work on a bull rush. He's got some size to him. He's not big, overall big. He is only 240 pounds. He might have to put on maybe a couple more pounds if he wants to excel in the NFL, but he's a guy that's intriguing, a guy that I kind of like. And, you know, again, where he could be one or two injuries away from being called up. There's no guarantee that Austin Bryant is going to be on this team, even though he made the team, and Campbell really likes him. There's no guarantee that him or Charles Harris will be on this team. I think they will be for this year. I really do, because those guys do create some pass rush. That's what they do. That's what probably the best part of their game is. But Jesse Lemieux could be a guy that could come up and maybe make some plays for Detroit Lions. But that's the video, guys. It was a quick one. It's not that long, about 10, 11 minutes. Like I said, I got one more video out. It's about some secondary guys. 3 secondary guys that I'm going to talk about. Probably have that out tomorrow. There is Tommy Kramer and Darren Paulo, two, one offensive guard, one offensive tackle. I'm not going to make a video about those two guys. And then there's another video. Then there's a guy, Zane Gonzalez, a kicker. I'm not making a video about a kicker. You know all about Zane Gonzalez. But for the 2-0 lineman, Tommy Kramer's a guy from Notre Dame. He could come up. He's going to be, I think he's strictly a guard. I don't know if they were even playing him at tackle during the preseason or anything like that, but he's a guy that's going to be a backup right now. He's on a practice squad. And Darren Paulo, he's bounced around on a couple teams too as well. Most notably Denver. And who knows what happens with those two guys. I'm not going to be making videos about them now, because I want to really get to the week 1 preview. That's what I got on cue. I got that coming up. That's probably going to drop Friday. Going to have that ready for you guys. This week 1 preview. San Francisco 49ers at Detroit Lions. So that's coming, guys. But thanks for the video, guys. 3 defensive players, Beckett, Lemieux, and Hector. Learn who they are. Go look at some tape. You never know, man. You might fall in love with them. Who knows, man? I like the Jesse Lemieux guy, though. But thanks a lot for the video, guys. Don't forget that subscribe button. Don't forget that the notification bell. Get all my videos. And don't forget to like and comment. It's all about the likes and the comments. Thanks, guys. Go Lions. Boom.